Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be testing the Rimac Concept One at Golden Max in the Electric Season 1 multiplayer season in Asphalt 9. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and be sure to check out my Furum Clips channel, as well as my Purple Team Discord. The links to those will be in the description, and I hope you enjoy these races. Also, I will be streaming this Saturday at my usual time, 4:30 PM GMT, returning to my bi-weekly schedule of streaming. We might do a Forza lobby directly after it as well, since I won't be there the next weekend, which is when I would usually do a Forza lobby, but more details about that coming soon. So I hope to see you all at the stream, and I'm very happy to be back after taking a hiatus due to being sick the previous time. So the Rimac Concept One is one of only 2 new cars in the update that you can drive in the Electric Season 1 multiplayer season. The other one is the Volkswagen IDR, and yes, I will be calling it that because that is its real name. I've uploaded a video about that car as well as the Taycan recently, so if you'd like to see videos about 2 of the other cars in the season, definitely go check those out. But the Rimac Concept One, I believe, is probably one of the most interesting ones for a lot of people. It is a high-end A-class car, 6 stars, almost 4,500 rank. It goes 238 miles per hour. Its drifting is really good. Its acceleration is really good. Its nitro, I would say, is probably its weakest point. It's not terrible, but it's honestly rather mediocre when compared with a lot of other high-end A-class cars. All the races in this video were recorded in either Elite or Master League, so I could get the best competition I could, and I alternated between red and blue on the car because, well, you can't make the car purple. And I gotta say, it was quite an enjoyable car to drive. I had really no issues with it other than the nitro lasting a little bit too short, but the thing is, it's kind of like the Trion Nemesis in the way that the low nitro efficiency doesn't really hamper it a lot of the time because its acceleration is so good that even after a turn, well, you're still going to be able to get up to your top speed without a problem. Honestly, sometimes, even if you don't use Shockwave, you can just triple tap to get up to your top speed in a rather quick order, which is really nice because it means you don't always have to save up for Shockwave. And here, the drifting was so good, I didn't actually realize it at this time that I drifted too much and hit the inside back there. Thankfully, I didn't lose too much of my speed, but I hit the walls a bit around that turn, and then my barrel was kind of weird there, and somebody almost caught up to me. And it would have been rather embarrassing if he had managed to pass me and beat me, because that is a 911 GT3 RS, and my car goes 19 miles per hour faster than him. 238 versus 119, but he wrecked, and we came in first by a pretty wide margin. Now, my main competitor throughout the season was the Inferno Automobile Inferno, because that car can go around 270 miles per hour, which is about 30 miles per hour faster than I can go. And it is just a great car all around too. It is another pretty well-rounded one. It doesn't start up as fast as this car, but it has better nitro efficiency. It also can drift pretty well. But actually, in this race, it was another Rimac that I was primarily facing. You see, the Infernos were really good on the more top speed-oriented tracks, but I found that since the Rimac just drifts so well, doesn't lose a lot of speed when it's drifting, and the acceleration is just so good that on tracks like Auckland, like right here, the Rimacs were definitely the ones that were pulling ahead a lot of the time. Not that the Infernos couldn't catch up, as you can see there, but it wasn't quite as much of a difference as you might see on some other tracks where the Infernos would definitely pass the Rimacs. Now here, the Rimacs can definitely put up a good showing. It's kind of like that season a while back where you had the Tech Rails 1896 and the Fenner, I believe it was, and while the Fenner was faster and better nitro, the Tech Rails was more agile, and so they were pretty evenly matched. And I would say the same holds true here. You could probably do very well with either the Rimac or the Inferno in the season. Now this was quite the heart attack moment. I landed on my side. Thankfully, my car flipped me back on my wheels instead of on my top, and I was able to survive that race. I thought for sure that I was going to die there, and that whole great race would have been for nothing. And it is at this point I must give a bit of bad news. So you guys remember the Electric R or IDR? Gotta remember to call it that. Cannot call it whatever Abomination Gameloft called it. Well, you remember the Grand Prix for that car, how I was so confident I was going to win it? Guess what? I didn't. So basically what happened was I was in Tier 3, I sandbagged down there, everything was going wonderfully, but then I missed a day. and I got 4th place. You need 3rd to guaranteed get the car. And if I had even just played a race and gotten 10 points on the 3rd day, I think it was, that I missed, I would have won the car without a problem, probably gotten 2nd place even against people who had upgraded their cars. I was just at 1 star the whole time. And I think I got 4th by 10 points or so and didn't get the car. So another F for me. We'll see when I can finally get another car. Thought for sure I was going to get that one, but now it gave me a good lesson. Sandbagging does work if you don't want to spend a lot of resources on your car. I know sandbagging is something that's somewhat controversial in the community, but personally, I don't have a problem with it. It's something that you can do in the game, within the game's mechanics, in order to give yourself a better chance, hopefully, of winning the car. Now, it's not without its own risks, however, and this was the reason why I didn't do it for the longest time. I thought that you would just constantly run into other people who were sandbagging and then you'd lose to them. But this was not the case for me. I don't really think there was anybody else who sandbagged in my room because I didn't really face any other really stiff competition. The reason the other people were able to get better times than me a lot of the time was because they'd upgrade their car to 2 or 3 stars, which is obviously going to be able to get better times. And then there was me missing the day. So I would definitely recommend, if you are low on tokens and you really want to get a Grand Prix car, sandbag it. The way I did it was in all of the practice rounds and everything before I got put into my final lobby. I just played a race like normal, but then I wrecked at some point during it, losing me 3 or 4 seconds. That put me back to tier 3, and I was recommended that by some members of the community. It worked pretty well, so yeah, if you're in that situation too, I might recommend it. I will be trying it again whenever the next Grand Prix comes out, and hopefully my 3rd attempt at sandbagging will work, because I tried it back in the SC20 Grand Prix, I think it was. It went well until I forgot to wreck one time, and I got a really good time, and then I got put into tier 2, I think it was. Tier 1 and tier 2 typically have very good competitors in them. Tier 3 and below typically don't as much. So that seems to be where the cutoff was, at least in my experience. So now we're on to the final race in the video, which is on Rome, which again, because of this car's agility, it's very good at. However, sometimes you run into a wall. But here's the thing, I had a very little amount of nitro there, less than a quarter of my bar. And yet I was just able to triple tap with it and get up to almost my full top speed after that turn back there, just because I didn't even dip below 200 miles per hour on the turn, or if I did, it was super close. And the car's acceleration is so good that it doesn't really matter. You can just stay really close to your top speed a lot of the time with this car, and that is definitely a benefit ahead of some other cars that you might find. For my general review, it's a pretty great multiplayer car, having great acceleration and drifting, pretty good top speed, and just okay nitro. I probably would recommend going for it if you can start up at least a little bit. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt and other games content, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!